Hi, viewers. Welcome with me to this special podcast, the Leadership Advancement Mentorship Podcast, Coach Ernie and Coach Steve. And these great personalities, this is not the first time we're having them right here. This is a continuity of what we started about 3 weeks ago on the power of collaboration. So, a lion doesn't need an introduction. You just have to let it loose. So welcome, Coach Ernie, and welcome, Coach Steve. How you all doing today?
Oh,
fantastic.
wonderful.
Dr.
Thank
Koku.
you so much, Dr. Koku. It's been a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, Coach Steve, you are a happy man. I just like
I got some happy people in my life, so I am happy. I really am.
I think you have some happy genes
Yeah.
in your DNA.
Wait, where does that lead me?
Well, I think you have the joy DNA, you know, so
Yeah.
you got joy, joyfulness, and happiness coming
That's
together.
right. That's right.
Yes, for sure.
I will
for
tell you
sure.
something, Dr. Koku, based on our theme today. I could not do and be as happy as what I do if I didn't have that young lady next to me. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk about that today. We're going to go into more power of collaboration. And I'm telling you what, the story that Ernie and I have brought together and what she does for me and how we work in tandem is just smoking hot, man. It's awesome.
Wow,
Ooh.
that's awesome. It's obvious. You can tell. And you guys are that's why we have you here. So today, we're going to continue on the power of collaboration. The last time we did, it was just like the foundation, the introduction. So we want to go deeper. First of all, I just want to emphasize to our viewers that when we talk about collaboration, before you collaborate with anyone, it's very important to have what we call the values match.
Yeah.
Yeah, the values match is based on what we call the law of identity. The law of identity. The law of identity is one of the 17 indisputable law of teamwork. Because collaboration is all about teamwork by Dr. John Maxwell in his book, The Seventh on this indisputable law of teamwork. So this is what the law says. It said, shared values define the team. One thing we made mention the last time is when it comes to talent, skills, ability, there's room for diversity. But when it comes to the place of values, there have to be unity.
Yes.
Yeah. So I want to ask Coach Ernie. So what are the shared values that you and Coach Steve that you have in common that brought you guys together to team up in all the great things that you guys do together? Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Koku, for that amazing question. I was actually hoping that you are going to ask me. The shared values that Steve and I have is basically one thing, and it's adding value to other. When, as we may have mentioned this on the initial podcast of the sequence, the idea only started by doing a webinar together, right? But it's not just wanting a webinar together to be out there. The goal of that webinar between Steve and I, and this is why we jived so much, is because we just wanted to pour knowledge onto others, meaning adding value. And that's what drives us to either keep moving forward with the webinar and then moving forward with the radio show, alongside with having guests who shares the same values, which is helping others and adding value to them.
That's awesome. Yeah, Coach Steve. Yeah, can you respond?
Yeah. Well, before I tell you what I feel like Ernie and I share in values, let me tell you what we're not. Okay, what we're not is this. Ernie is female. I'm male. Right. Okay. We're not the same species. We're not the same human beings. We're the same species. Yes, I'm sorry. We are the same species. However, we're not the same gender. We're not the same age, Dr. Koku. I'm 30 years older than my partner. We're not, we share, we're not the same ethnicity. We're different ethnicities. I'm a old white boy from the state of Texas, and Ernie's a Filipina. So we have all this diversity within just the two of us. And what brings Ernie and myself together is the values. That's what brings us together. And that's what's so great about your statement, your leading statement into the show, was the fact that you could be all this diversity out there, but what brings people together, right?
Yeah.
Is that
values,
that value of unity. And that's what Ernie and I have together. When we met each other, we didn't know each other. Obviously, we sat down and we just started talking with a bunch of friends around us. All of a sudden, you just get these ideas in your mind. You feel this energy in your heart that says, wow, that person seems to think like I think. And that's what happened to Ernie and I. It's just something that God put together.
Yeah.
And when we did that, and when we started talking and collaborating together, we started hearing about, oh, Ernie's doing a mastermind. Would you drop in on my mastermind and share that mastermind group with me? I would say, yes, I would love to. And then I was doing a mastermind, and Ernie would say, hey, I would say, Ernie, I need you to be part of my mastermind as well. And she would say, yes, I would love to. So all of a sudden we started working together, masterminds. Then we came together and put our own mastermind together. And we've done several of those together over the past few years.
Wow.
But what the amazing thing is that led us to say, let's do a webinar.
That's cool.
Every 2 weeks, let's do a webinar. We didn't know how to do that, Dr. Kuka. We had no clue how to put a webinar together. But we just knew by the energy that we had together, the collaboration that we've done, that was something that we needed to do.
Wow.
And from there on, it led to greater things.
That's awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so much sense. And then Coach Steve, still picking on you. And can you tell us why is it important for team? Because we talk about the power of collaboration, which is highlighting teamwork. And Coach Steve, why is it important for teams to have shared values and not to compromise on the shared values?
That's an outstanding question. I believe it has a lot to do with it. It enhances the creativity within a group, right? It enhances, it's combining different ideas and viewpoints together to lead to an innovative solution. And so I think that and that's what Ernie, the times that we've had challenges, and Dr. Kuku, we've had challenges together, right? But what Ernie and I love, and I'm partner, I want you to talk about this too, but Ernie and I made a promise to each other early on. We're never, ever going to be perfect human beings. We are going to make mistakes. We're not, some days we're going to be tired. Some days we're going to be off. Some days we're not going to be feeling like, the energy. So there's some things that's going to enter our lives. But we always promise with Ernie, when you're at your 60, I got your 40. And Steve, when you're at your 40, I got your 60. But what happens, Dr. Kuko, if neither one of us are at 60 or 40? What if both of us are just at 40 and there's not 100% there? That's when we talk. That's when we collaborate. That's when we share. That's when we communicate.
Wow.
Because that's the only thing, Dr. Kuku, that brings people together is communication.
Wow.
Ernie, can you talk about that? Because I love the way you put it when you speak on that.
Wait, how do I top that? So there's two things that you mentioned there, partner, right? How we would,
basically. Why is it important for?
Why is it important
for teams to have a shared value? Why?
Why is it important? And you touched it. So our values, yes, we have the values of adding value to others, but we promise ourselves that by doing so, we will be honest, authentic, and raw, right? Why is it important? Because when in decision making, when you work with a team, when you're collaborating, you're not going with them every day, every second of the day together, right? You're not going to go take a shower together. You're not going to do business together all the time. But when you know you have that shared values, you can trust the other person,
right, that
whatever conversation is happening without you there's one values that they are focusing on, and that's adding value to others. With Steve and I, when there's business meetings that we have to attend, when one cannot attend, know for sure that I'm not speaking for myself or he's not speaking for himself. We have the same value and we are speaking for each other as a group. That's why it's very important. It's very important when decision making is involved, right? When you have a team with different values, the decision can go away, right? It's going to be one direction or the other direction. It's not going to drive, and you will not come up with the conclusion that the team wants to be. So that's why it's important. As far as relationship and communication, this is tapping into a different level of collaboration, a next level of collaboration. Yes, we have values, but there will be times when you're like, okay, I'm tired today. Right? There will be times where you're not feeling 100% today. Same values, the same values that we have, we are going to step up for that person because we value them. So we will take them with us on the time that they don't feel like at 100%.
Wow.
And it should be vice versa.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. Dr. John Maxwell said something that it seems I'm really highlighting in this power of collaboration, the need for value, because a lot of people, I want to team up, but don't dare you team up with someone without shared values. Values is like glue. This is what John Maxwell said. He said, if your values and the values of the person you want to team up with really match, it said you will experience alignment, unity, and effectiveness. What makes effective collaboration is when there's a value match. Because like Dr. John Maxwell also said, he said, it is always easy to do right when you know ahead of time what you stand for.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the thing about it. So value is not only what you stand on, value is also what you stand for.
That's right.
So, and that's the thing about why that value have to be shared. Now, I want to take this to another level, talking about the law of niche.
Okay.
Which is another one of the laws of 17 indisputable, one of the law of teamwork in 17 indisputable law of teamwork by Dr. John Maxwell. He said, all players have a place where they had the most value. All players have a place where they had the most value. And this principle talks about that you have a unique role to take, even when you are part of a team. Everyone have a unique role to take, and the unique contributions of every one of the team is so important. So that means each one of the team, either you are 2 or 3, 4, have to find their role, and they have to make sure that they play that role in order to complete the team. So, and that's why every part of the team is very important. So now the question is, based on this law of the niche, so Coach Ernie, in this relationship in the power of collaboration, where do you add the most value?
Yes, definitely. So a little bit of background, and this is what not having collaboration looks like. When you're starting something, business, learning something new, or leading a team, when you're doing it by yourself, you're having to do the things that you do not like to do.
Right.
You're having to do the things that you are not good at. You're having to do the things that you have no knowledge, little to no knowledge of, right? Those are the downside of doing things by yourself. Now, being a part of a team, collaborating with somebody, knowing each other's identity, knowing each other's strengths, weaknesses, that's the niche, right? Finding the right people who will then add value to the mission of the team. My strengths is what are my strengths? My strengths is more I am the actually partner. Let's do this. Let's play a game.
Okay.
Steve's strengths is he's the dreamer of the group.
Ernie's strength is she's the implementer of the group. She puts it all together. I might come up with this incredible idea and maybe sound stupid to some people, but it doesn't sound stupid to Ernie. Ernie says, partner, we could do that. And when that happens, she implements things. I mean, Dr. Cuckoo, I am not a detailed person. I don't really like details. I mean, I can do them. I've done them in my past. I don't necessarily like them. I'm somewhat organized, but I don't like to do the details. But Ernie, oh my gosh, Dr. Cuckoo, she is freaking amazing at details, at scheduling, at media work. She can do things I never dreamed I could do. She's amazing. She implements a lot of the tasks that we have to do for the Leader's Edge, a lot of the tasks that we have to do for our webinars and workshops that we do. She leverages all that, puts that together. What that creates in collaboration is efficiency. Sharing tasks and responsibilities can streamline processes, allowing teams to accomplish more in less time. And that's what happens with us.
In short, making it look easy.
Wow.
That's really not.
Wow.
It's really a lot of work.
Wow. Listen, I'm like a little boy that killed a big deer. And I'm looking at where do I start eating this big deer now? And I got my little knife trying to cut everything in bite and pieces, because what you said is so huge. And so I see Coach Steve as the Chief Visionary Officer, and I see Coach Ernie as the Chief Executive Officer.
No doubt.
And that's a place of realizing your role, your place in the team. There's no place that doesn't have value. And that's why we talk about the law of the niche, that every player has a place where they add the most value. And this is very important because it brings about a sense of security. And you know that you can do what I can do. I can do what I can do. I mean, we have the same thing. I work with 21 strong leaders. And everyone have the place where they had the most value. We remember there was a time we want to have an event. We need someone to help us with the technical stuff behind the scene. Then one of our leaders, she told me about a cousin that lives in Europe. And that was huge. So anytime we're having an event now, he does all the stuff.
Yes.
We have a team member that can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have a team member that can do it. But now having someone, because that team member have to play other roles, because like the last conference that we had, Miss Jerisha Mossmith, she was one of the moderators. So there's no way you can do those two things together. But to have someone behind the scene that is not being seen doing all those things was a game changer. Now, this team leader, she make a contribution by bringing a recommendation that was valuable for the team.
Exactly.
And that's what we're talking about. So how do you, because you guys are great in this. So Coach Ernie, what would be your advice for people that are working on teaming up? Because we've already established the foundation that before you can think about teaming or team up, you have to obey the law of identity. Shared values define the team. So that have to be non-compromised, non-negotiable. They have to be shared values. Now, I haven't had that shared values. So how do you want to encourage, someone that is considering teaming up with someone on the law of the niche, which talks about, each player has a place where they have the most value. So how do you help people to navigate that? Coach Ernie, thank you.
Yes, for sure. And I'm gonna say this: it's not easy to find a team, right? Steve and I had gone through that. Before it was just him and I doing everything. Now we do have a team, and it wasn't easy. It's not like, oh, I pick you, you have the same values, and then we're good.
Right.
It's not that. It's also finding out more about that person. Why are they doing what they are? Why are they collaborating with you? What's the question? That's the question. Why are they collaborating with you? And then finding out if they do have that skill that you're looking for, can they deliver it? Because one of the things that and I'm going to be transparent here, we just experienced it lately. We interview for virtual assistants, right? And one of the things that Steve and I communicated is, we're not going to control anything. We will not micromanage, but one thing is communication. And if that is lacking, we cannot work as a team, right? If the individual has the same values that us, wanted to help other people, wanted to help us make a difference, but there's a lack of communication. So that doesn't jive. So finding out more about the individual, it's a relationship at the end of the day, right? Our values is adding value to people, and also seeing that that person is of value, we will take them with us. The question is, do they see the same value with you? Do they value you the same thing? And that's how, that's what I would recommend. Yes, they may be able to do the job, but do they see the value in you as to what the value of what we're doing?
Exactly. Wow, this is huge. This is huge. Thank you for really pointing out that out. This is very, very important. Now, Coach Steve, just ask you the next question. One of the books I'm reading right now is from Simon Sinek. Don't mind me, I'm reading 10 books every day. Every day. Yeah. So I don't finish the 10 books, I read from them. So one of the books I spend 30 minutes. That's my primary book right now is Change Your World by Dr. John Maxwell and Rob Hoskins. And then the rest of the book, I read 10 minutes. So one of the books that I read 10 minutes from Simon Sinek, and the title is Together is Better. Yeah, so it's just a little book that has a lot of illustrations and all that.
Yeah, I got it. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
You love Simon Sinek.
Oh, yeah. I've got that little book.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. So it shared a lot of very, very interesting stuff. But the emphasis is together is better. And I want to really emphasize that. In the power of collaboration, if together is not better, then there's no point coming together. Two are better than one.
Right.
Not that two are better than one.
Right.
Yes.
If you can become better together, then that is not a good team. So that means for the team to come together, it's got to be better. So that takes me to the point of and Coach Steve, in the place of collaboration, what I have observed, because I'm speaking as a practitioner right now, is what, from your own experience, how do you handle the place of managing the relationship?
That's a great question.
Yeah, because
that's a great question.
When you're talking about together, and at times there'll be situation that happens, and how do you guys handle that? That's why a lot of people they prefer isolation. But today we're looking at association versus isolation. Because association is when you collaborate with the right person. A lot of people say, well, I'd rather be by myself. You know, there's so much trouble working with someone else and all that stuff. But we're saying together is better. When you get the right fit, together is better, because that person is coming to complement you. So you can focus on your strengths, what you know how to do well. So, and Coach Steve, can you speak to that? This will be the last question. We're gonna wrap up this part one. We're coming back for part two. So, and Coach Steve, quickly,
Yes, building that relationship. That's huge. It's a great question, Dr. Koku, and I will tell you, a lot of it for me, because I'm an extroverted person. You have to know your partner. You have to know your people. Ernie's not extroverted. Ernie is more introverted, but she's a confident, very confident introverted person. I have to recognize that. I have to see that. In her confidence, there is a lot of really cool stuff that she brings to the table. And when I say cool stuff, I'm talking about, for an example, if I'm with a guest and I'm out there, we're talking and we're just going crazy and we're getting all these ideas. Ernie's like, "Whoa, boys, reel it back in." I have to respect that. She brings us back in. She brings me back to the table. She says that I have to respect. So respect is a lot about it, is what it is. It is, you have to really respect that individual and what they bring to the table in the valued relationship. There's also trust. So you have respect and you have trust. And I'm telling you what, Dr. Koku, if I could not trust that woman across from me, the table, across the mic from me, to know that she's got my back, this would never, ever work. You have to have a complete, total trust, because when you don't have that trust and you try to micromanage everything, you're saying, "I don't trust you." And sometimes we, as siloed people, and we don't want to bring in somebody else, maybe they have our shared values, we don't want to bring them in. You're saying to them, "I don't trust you." And you may not, and you may have good reason. However, in a relationship where you're collaborating, in a relationship that you're working, in a relationship that you want as a team, you must have respect and you must have trusted value. That is something that is non-negotiable for Ernie and I. And the last thing is honesty. And she's called me out before, Dr. Koku. I'm really honest. She has called me out on my honesty sometimes, because I'm out there sometimes, and
it works both ways.
Yeah, it does. It works both ways. But I'm out there. I'm extroverted, and I might say something that's like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's kind of colorful. You probably didn't exaggerated that a little bit." Ernie will bring me back in. But the honesty, the respect is so important.
That's awesome. You remind me of an acronym. Sorry, I'm an acronym.
Yes, you are.
About the true team. That talk about these are the quality of a true team. And the acronym is true.
True.
And so T, a true team trusts each other. Then the R, a true team respect each other. Then the U, a true team understand each other. And then the E, a true team encourage each other.
Right.
So we have trust, respect, just based on what I'm gathering from you.
Yeah.
Then understanding is very important. Even just, she doesn't have to say anything, just a body language.
Yeah.
Just rolling her eyes.
Yeah.
It's what I'm saying. Yeah. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
So you already read the memo. Oh, yeah. We need to make an adjustment like that. That's the kind of level of understanding. And the last one is encourage each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
I will say this real quick too. Don't be too prideful in yourself. Don't be too prideful in yourself, because you don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
Don't be too prideful. And I have to sometimes I have to think.
Awesome. Wow. That's great. You know what? We're gonna wrap up this first, and we promise we're coming back for the second. Listen, yes. I told you we signed for greatness, because these two great personalities, they are not philosophers. These are practitioners. And we're going to come back in the last and final round to continue on the power of collaboration. Thank you, and see you next week.